Hola, buenos días de nuevo. Ya estoy de regreso para leerles el siguiente cuento, otra versión de Los Tres Cerditos. I'm going to read the other version of The Three Little Pigs. This is The Three Little Wolves and a Big Bad Pig. Este tiene el revés de ahora aquí son tres lobitos chiquitos y el cerdo grande y malo. Otra diferente versión de, de los tres cerditos, el cuento tradicional. So this is another take on the traditional Three Little Pigs with now the Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig. But before that, I want to share something. I want to share what I am wearing. I decided to put this on because I hardly use them. This is a dress that I bought in Puebla when I was in el mercado, se me olvida cómo se llama, ahí en Puebla, es muy popular. A very popular market in Puebla. And I love it. I just don't wear it that much because it's so special. It has a rebozo, it has its shawl, and I want to show off my Aztec. What do you call that? Green stone Aztec warrior with silver that I got in Puebla also, and all my other matching jewelry. This ring I happen to have in Utah when I went to my friend's house, Rita. When I went to Orem, and then we went to Moab, and so I just thought I'd get all dressed up for you to tell you this story. But before I do, yesterday when I was sharing the story, I had Jessica Maldonado text me or message me telling me how proud she was um, of me and how I had inspired her to continue to improve herself. And she's now has a certified position as a interpreter. And so I'm so proud of her. And then one of my former students um, from long ago when I was in Angevine, yet Sally Gomez messaged me and she wrote, "Hi, Mrs. Ramirez. My name is Yeseli, and you were a teacher of mine at Angevine Middle School. I was one of your poetry club students and also part of the ISSC. That's the International School and Student Exchange Program. These were kids that I took with another teacher to Costa Rica. I wanted to say to say Happy New Year and thank you for inspiring me and sharing your story of how you grew up working the fields. 1 year ago this month, I left to join the United States Army. I wanted to make a difference, not only a woman, but as a Mexican who came from a family who worked so hard to come to the States. You always said we could do anything we wanted as long as we put our minds to it and work hard. So thank you, Mrs. Ramirez. So I am so proud that I'm getting these thank you letters of inspiration. And a lot of times we say as teachers that we never know, who we touch, and it's really great to um, to hear from your students when you are here. And now that I'm kind of turning to teaching, I guess, as I teach on screen through my storytelling, it is so good, and I really appreciate all of these comments and thank yous. And so, thank you for making me the teacher that I begin because my students, my family were my inspiration. Hola Mayra, ¿cómo están mi sobrina? How are you? Sí, te voy a leer el cuento del marrano malo. Ese es el nuevo cuento que voy a compartir. So, anyway, what I wanted to tell you about what happened in Angevine with Yetzeli and also Humberto Silva. I was not part of the group that selected kids to go to international trips through our school, because this program, ISSC, International School and Student Exchange Program, I believe it was a program to take kids, but most of the kids that went were kids that had money because it cost to go there. You had to pay your way. The trip, of course, was costly, and then you were hosted by people. But I worked my way into this committee, and I began to advocate for kids that didn't have these opportunities, because I thought these are great experiences, but these kids will never have that privilege to have the opportunity to go to these amazing places. So I got on, and then I brought in the idea to take Latinos, and somehow we could raise money and donate some money to help them with the expenses, and give parents a chance to save so they could send their kids. Because trips and traveling is a life changing experience, I think. If you want to gift anybody and you can afford them, sending them to travel, I think, changes their whole world, their whole outlook, their perspective. It just makes you grow as a human being, and you appreciate other cultures and are more tolerant and more understanding and empathetic. So anyway, I took Humberto, the first Latino, and Yetzeli that year to Costa Rica with us. And lo and behold, Humberto, who was the sweetest guy, he's now started college. I remember when I first got him, he said, cuando yo me reciba, me voy a recibir porque le voy a arreglar los papeles a mis padres. So he's working towards this goal. Him and his sister are in college. I'm so proud of that family, amazing family that supported me throughout when I was at Angeline. They were always so kind. I even stayed with them when it was snowy, and I would stay late because I had this parent committee, and then I would have to go early when it was snowing. So I always had a packed bag to stay overnight. So Humberto was one of the families, along with the Chaparro family, Arturo and his wife were and his family would give up one of the bedrooms, and they would let me stay, so I wouldn't have to come home late at night in the middle of a snowstorm and then have to get up like 5 in the morning to go back. So I was always prepared with my boots, my socks, my scarves, and I would spend the night at my students' homes. And so Humberto and his family, his mom and dad and his sister, always had me, and sometimes they had me over for dinner. They would bring me lunches to school. They would make tamales and bring me. They were just amazing parents. And so Humberto, very humble, very dedicated, wonderful human being for being such a young child. Along with Yetzeli, they were thinking about this trip. Yetzeli had never been on a plane. I don't think Humberto had either. And so we make it to Costa Rica, and lo and behold, Humberto gets to stay with the nicest, well off family. All the families there are well off if they can afford this, because they would send their students to our school and we would host them over here. So Humberto stayed with this couple. One was a doctor, the man was a doctor, and the wife was a nurse. And so they knew Humberto was coming. So for him, they fixed up and gave him the best of their home. They had the most beautiful home out by the rainforest, by the volcano, with mango trees, mangoes dangling off of the trees. And they even had a spare house that was the size of my house. And they said, whenever you want to write your book, Mrs. Ramirez, aquí tiene su casa. Usted viene aquí, se inspira, y aquí se puede quedar. Aquí es su casa. So I could have gone to Costa Rica or Puerto Rico and had a home and to be away from everybody and just focus on my book. But I never took advantage of that. I think I still can. I don't know. But I managed to stay and still complete my book. But anyway, Humberto and Yetzeli had the time of their lives in Costa Rica. They took us to the top of volcano craters. We went to the beaches, the most beautiful beaches in Costa Rica, where there was monkeys stealing our lunches, and it was just wonderful. And Humberto got to go to a Shakira concert right on the front line. They had bought him tickets. They had bought him soccer tickets to go see Messi right up front. He just lucked out more than any of the kids that had gone. And I was so grateful that this had opportunity had been given to him, because he was such a deserving kid that had never had this opportunity. So I got to stay with each of the families. All me and my friend, my colleague that took the kids had to go have dinner with each of the families that our students were being hosted by. So I went to all the families. They were all amazing. All of them offered me a home. I have another family that in Huanchaco, which is a beach next to Trujillo, offered me, she had apartments, so she offered me a place to if I ever wanted to go back. So Humberto and his family, they had a blast. They took him everywhere. They bought him the most amazing gifts for him and his family. And for me, because they got to hear my story about wanting to be a writer, um, they they offered to send me to a rainforest that was far away. We went on a bus and went through this beautiful scenery in Costa Rica until we got to the top near a volcano, where I actually got to see a sloth that I could touch right close on the rainforest. The forest, there was thermal waters that I bathed in. It was just very healing, warm water. There was a massage parlor that massaged my whole body and gave me the most beautiful facial. It was just incredible where they sent me. And the family sent me and they said, y este señor, yo lo conozco, es como familia, así que la encargué mucho con usted. I want to make sure that they know that you are our guest and that they must take care of you and make sure that you're okay, because we went and we spent the night over there. So it was really, really incredible. Then they sent me to an island, to the Isla Tortugas. Oh my gosh, I saw dolphins swimming next to my boat. And then when we got to the beach, we were actually the boat had a pool and they were serving us fresh fruit, cut fruit. And then when we got there, there was a band playing to welcome us. And then we had this amazing meal, white powder, soft sand, horseback riding, parrots of all colors. It was just like a dream. When I do my stories about where I've been, and when I do Costa Rica, I'll show you all of these amazing things. But anyway, I wanted just to share how amazing, what an amazing place Costa Rica is, and how Yetzeli, that is now in the U.S. Army, was also a young a student like Humberto that had never had these opportunities, and she got to go, her and Humberto, and they had I think a life changing experience. Even for me, it was. I've never been to Costa Rica. It was just so beautiful, and the families were just amazing. I went to eat and have dinner with all the different families, and all of them offered me a place to go and stay. And I still communicate with them through Facebook. I keep in touch with the schools and the parents. I actually did a presentation for a classroom with my friend Milagros, who I stayed with, and then she stayed at my house, and I taught a lesson through Zoom, and the kids were so thrilled. They were crying and saying what a great presentation, and it was just incredible. So anyway, I hope to do more of that because they are still my friends. Milagros was supposed to come this summer to stay with me for 5 days or a week, but because of the pandemic, she canceled. So we're hoping next year she'll come. Anyway, that's a little bit about these amazing kids. Yetzeli, I'm so proud of you. Humberto, the same, and Shirley, that gave me this beautiful gift. Son puros santos, un crucifijo, vírgenes, ángeles, a la Virgen María, un niño santo y otros santos y una oración de puerta que tengo en mi puerta así. Entonces, esto me regaló al venirme y yo lo tengo allí y de veras que Dios ha bendecido mi casa. Y le doy gracias a Shirley y a su esposo, el señor doctor, por darme esas experiencias tan bonitas y tan grandes. Me acuerdo cuando me subí al autobús que me iba a ir a, I got on the bus to go to the isla because it was far. And I was by myself, being an adventurer, going to God knows where I never been. So he was looking out for me. He's a doctor, so he had to be at the hospital early. But that morning, when my host sent me to uh, to the plaza where we were going to pick up, he made sure that I got a taxi that they knew because they wanted me to be safe. And then when I was waiting for the bus, the doctor stopped and saw me and said, "Hey, how are you? How was it? Are you okay?" And I thought, oh, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be at work. He wanted to make sure that I was safe. So he said, "Nomás quiero estar seguro que esté bien." So then when I got in line to get on the bus, I got in line in alphabetical order, and then because I was Barrientos Ramirez, they put me in the front line because they went by my maiden name, Barrientos. So I got on the bus first. So I sat on the very front row so I could see all the beautiful scenery that we were going to cross across Costa Rica. And then the doctor goes up on the bus and still is checking up on me. Are you okay? You be safe. And I already told them to take care of you. It was just an incredible experience that I will never ever forget. I got video, I've got pictures, I've got a whole album of memories, and I've got my heart full of the love and the care that we received while we were there. And I am so grateful that I was able to share that with these students that also had an unbelievable experience. So anyway, that is my story. En español se lo diré todo esto cuando haga mi cuento de Costa Rica. Lo repetiré en español porque ya se me va el tiempo. Y mi propósito para este tiempecito es leerles el cuentito, el cuento de esto. Pero niños, antes de que empiece, les quería decir que padres, ya tengo la canasta llena y tengo un buñuelo aquí para mostrarles que los tengo, pero les quería enseñar a los niños que en esta canastita que siempre les compro a mis nietecitas y las traje también para mi fiesta de retiro, están mis niñas con su palote chiquito, mis nietas y las que visitan, hacen tortillas chiquitas y aquí en esta canastita ponen sus tortillas. Pero esta vez, como Sofía es mi nietecita que está aquí conmigo, le hice buñuelos chiquitos, chiquitos así. Así que cuando hagan buñuelos, acuérdense de sus nietecitos, de sus hijos y háganles una sorpresita así. Esto se lo voy a regalar a Sofía cuando vaya a dejarle los buñuelos a su mamá y darle su canastita. Si no tienen esta canastita, que estas las venden en México, no sé si en Piedras Negras, pero se pueden llenar en las bolsitas de regalo. Y aquí también están unos que pueden regalar en bolsitas si no tienen la facilidad de comprar estas hermosas canastitas. Entonces, bueno, pues gracias por su paciencia de escuchar mi emoción de mi experiencia de Costa Rica y el orgullo que tengo de mis estudiantes. So ahora I am going to read in English The Three Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig. Y luego tomo un descanso y voy a leérselos en español después. Okay? This story is by Eugene Trevisas and Helen Oxbury. Okay? I read it ahead of time and it's a little different, but anyway. And it's illustrated by Helen Oxenberry. So this is the mama and her three little wolves. Once upon a time, there were three cuddly little wolves with soft and fluffy tails who lived with their mother. The first was black, the second was gray, and the third was white. One day, the mother called the three little wolves around her and said, "My children, it is time for you to go out into the world. Go and build a house for yourself, but be aware of the big bad pig." "Don't worry, mother, we will watch out for him," said the three little. "We will watch out for him," said the three little wolves, and off they went. Okay. So here they come across a kangaroo with some bricks. Soon they met a kangaroo who was pushing a wheelbarrow full of red and yellow bricks. "Please, will you give us some of your bricks?" asked the three little wolves. "Certainly," said the kangaroo, and she gave them a lot of red and yellow bricks. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of bricks. See them building it? You would think this was strong, right? Well, you're going to see this version is a little bit different. Look at this big bad pig. He looks pretty mean, mischievous, and evil. The very next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of bricks the little wolves had built. The three little wolves were playing croquet in the garden when they saw the big bad pig coming. They ran inside the house and locked the door. Now remember when the wolves couldn't blow down the house of bricks? Well, see how you feel about what happens in this story. The pig knocked on the door and grunted, little wolves, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair on our chins, we will not let you in. Not for all the tea leaves in our china pot." So there's a big bad pig, wanting them to open. "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed, but the house didn't fall down. Because of course, it's made out of brick. And we know the wolf couldn't blow down the house of bricks. But, oh my gosh, look at this version. I don't know if I like it. Do you? Look at what this pig is doing. He grabbed a sledgehammer. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and fetched his sledgehammer and he knocked the house down. Oh my gosh. And the three little wolves only just managed to escape before the bricks crumbled, and they were very, very frightened indeed. So they barely got out through the back door, and they were terribly afraid. "We shall have to build a stronger house," they said. Just then they saw a beaver was mixing concrete in a concrete mixer. See the concrete mixer? Have you seen that when people are building? The beaver happened to have this concrete. "Please, will you give us some of your concrete?" asked the three wolves. "Certainly," said the beaver. He gave them buckets and buckets full of messy, slurry concrete. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of concrete. Yikes, concrete is pretty strong. But I don't know, the way it started out, this wolf is pretty mischievous, pretty cunning. No sooner had they finished when the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of concrete that the little wolves had built. They were playing battledore and shuttlecock in the garden. Now this game is kind of like tennis, but with that little ball that has a little ball and some feathers, kind of like um, a rectangular little flying ball. So they were playing this game in the garden when they saw the big bad pig coming. They ran inside the house and shut the door. The pig rang the bell and said, "Little frightened wolves, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in. Not for all the tea leaves in our china pot. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed. But the house didn't fall down. See, here's the pigs playing that battledore and shuttlecock. It's kind of like tennis with this little rectangular um, feather type ball that goes flying through the air instead of the tennis ball. Oh my God, I can't believe this. Can you look at this pig? He truly is determined. He is breaking the house down. Oh my gosh. Now the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and fetched his pneumatic drill and smashed the house down. Ever seen people breaking concrete in the highways? Brrr, like that. That's what he grabbed, and he was breaking their house apart. The three little wolves managed to escape, but their chinny chins were trembling and trembling and trembling. They could not believe this pig was so bad. Man, I don't know about this version. What do you think? Kind of different. And it has a really different ending, too. You're going to be surprised. "We shall build an even stronger house," they said, because they were determined. Just then, they saw a truck coming along carrying barbed wire, iron bars, armor plates, and heavy metal padlocks. "Please, will you give us some of your barbed wire, a few iron bars and armor plates, and some heavy metal padlocks?" they said to the rhinoceroses who were driving the truck. Rhinoceroses that were driving the truck. "Sure," said the rhinoceroses. The rhinoceros, and he gave them plenty of barbed wire, iron bars, armor plates, and heavy metal padlocks. They also gave them some plexiglass and some reinforced steel chains because he was a generous and kind-hearted rhinoceros. So the three little wolves built themselves an extremely strong house. It was the strongest, securest house one could possibly imagine. They felt absolutely safe. So there's a rhinoceros with all his equipment, and there are the wolves building their strongest house ever. Now, what do you think? Do you think the wolf is not going to get through this? I mean, the pig? The next day, the big bad pig, came prowling along the road as usual. The three little wolves were playing hopscotch in the garden. When they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside their house, bolted the door, and locked all the 37 padlocks. The pig dialed the video entrance phone and said, "Little frightened wolves with the trembling chins, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the little wolves. "By the hair of our chinny chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china pot." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed. But the house didn't fall down. But the pig wasn't called big bad for nothing. Oh my goodness, do you think he's gonna get through again? Guess what he did? He brought some dynamite. It laid against the house. He then lit the fuse. So here he was trying to get in through the barbed wire. Then he went and got the dynamite. See here on the ground? Oh, this pig sure is a mean one. Worse than Mr. Grinch. The house blew up. The three little wolves just managed to escape with their furry tails scorched. Ah, poor wolves cannot find any peace with this mean old wolves. Something must be wrong with our building materials, they said. We have to try something different. But what? At that moment, they saw a flamingo along pushing a wheelbarrow full of flowers. Do you see the flamingo? Flowers. Are they going to try that as material? I don't know. Can you imagine? Can a pig not blow down a house of flowers? Hmm, interesting. At that moment, they saw Flamingo coming along, pushing a wheelbarrow full of flowers. Please, will you give us some of flowers? Asked the little wolves. With pleasure, said the Flamingo, as he gave them lots of flowers. So the three little wolves built their house out of flowers. Man, do you think that's going to work? A house made out of flowers? When the big bad pig was able to destroy their other houses that were so strong, the brick, the concrete, and all that barbed wire and cement. I don't know. One of the one wall of the marigolds they built, one of daffodils, one of pink roses, one of cherry blossoms. The ceiling was made of sunflowers, and the floor was a carpet of daisies. They had water lilies in their bathtub and buttercups in their refrigerator. Isn't that so cool to take a bath with fragrant flowers floating around you? It was a rather fragile house and it swayed in the wind, but it was very beautiful. Next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of flowers that the three little wolves had built. Oh, poor wolves. Look at how worried they are when they see the big bad pig coming along. He rang the doorbell and said, Little frightened wolves with the trembling chins and the scorching tails, let me come in. No, 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 said the three little wolves. By the hair on our chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down, said the pig. But, oh my goodness, this is something, look at what is happening. The pig is smelling the beautiful flowers. But he, as he took a deep breath, ready to huff and puff, he smelled the soft scent of the flowers. It was fantastic. And because the scent was so lovely, the pig took another breath and then another. And instead of huffing and puffing, he began to sniff. See him sniffing the flowers? Oops, sorry. He sniffed deeper and deeper until he was quiet, filled with the fragrant scent. His heart grew tender, and he realized how horrible he had been. Right then, he decided to become a big, good pig. He started to sing and dance the tambourine. Look at him, totally transformed. He's not going to be a meanie anymore. The first, at first, the three little wolves were a bit worried. It might be a trick, but soon they realized the big pig had truly changed. So they came out running from their house and they started to play games with him. First they played ping pong, then piggy in the middle, and when they were all tired, they invited him into the house. Oh my God, they trusted him even to bring him in the house after he played with them. They offered him tea and strawberries and wolfberries and asked him to stay with them as long as he wanted. The pigs accepted and they lived happily ever after. The end. A different type of story, a different take. Very creative of the author, Eugene. I kind of like it though, even though it's different. Hope you did too. Okay, so I am going to stop, take a break, and then come and do this in Spanish for our Spanish speaking group. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you didn't get a chance to see it now, I hope that you will see it later. I will see you in a little while if you want to join me for the Spanish version. Okay? Bye.